It was the 1920s, a time when jazz echoed in London's halls. The city was healing from the Great War, and industry was booming. But beneath the shining surface, the River Thames held a deadly secret. One stormy night, relentless rain met a failing drainage system. The water rose, and soon, London's poorest neighborhoods became rivers. Archival footage of the Thames in the early 20th century. Raindrops falling, streets flooding, children watching from windows. Black and white title appears. The children of the flood. Thousands were displaced, homes destroyed, and families broken. But among the forgotten were the children. This is their story. A poor East End neighborhood, 1928. A family of 5 huddles in a small flat as the storm rages. Water starts seeping under the door. Mama said not to worry. But then the floor began to move. The water came like a monster, fast and black. I held my brother's hand, and then the lights went out. The flood of 1928 struck suddenly. The Thames overflowed after days of rain. Over 14 people died, but hundreds of children lost everything: their homes, their schools, their parents. The 1928 Thames flood was one of London's most devastating natural disasters of the century. The poorest families, living in basements near the river, were the hardest hit. Many children became orphans overnight. Rescue boats carried the survivors, but not all families stayed together. London's workhouses and orphanages overflowed with frightened, hungry faces. Children wrapped in blankets, sitting on a cold floor. A nurse handing out bread. A social worker taking notes on a clipboard. They arrived shivering, their shoes filled with river mud. Some could not speak for days. One boy asked if his mother was still floating. For many, the flood was more than water. It was a wave that swept away their childhood. Not all children found shelter. Some drifted into London's alleys, surviving by wit and will. They became known as river children, scavenging among debris and sleeping in abandoned boats. A small group of kids searching for food along the muddy banks. Police patrols shooing them away. A young boy sketching the flooded streets with charcoal. These were the invisible ones, too poor for newspapers, too young for work, too wild for orphanages. But their courage told another story, of resilience. They built rafts from wood and tins, calling themselves the Flood Brothers. They laughed even when they were starving. In the years that followed, London rebuilt. New flood defenses were planned, and Parliament promised safety for the future. But for the children of the flood, safety came too late. Engineers working on river barriers. Reopened schools. Children planting flowers where houses once stood. A young girl, now a teenager, returns to her old street, standing over the ruins of her childhood home. They say the river's calm again, but it still speaks at night. I hear it in my dreams. Many of those flood children grew up to become factory workers, soldiers, nurses, builders of a new London. Their experiences shaped a generation that knew hardship, war, and survival. 930s London rebuilding scenes. Archival footage of children playing along the repaired Thames embankment. Smiling faces. Hope returning. From tragedy rose compassion. Charities like Barnardo's and local councils expanded aid for children. The lessons of 1928 helped protect London from future floods, including the Great Flood threat of 1953. Today, few remember the flood that nearly drowned London's East End. Yet the Thames still carries their story, the laughter and tears of the children who lived by its edge.